Hello learners, welcome again. In the previous lecture, I have discussed about the concept of science mapping, what science mapping is. We have discussed that science mapping is a visual representation of the structure of science. Then we have discussed about the what is network, and the network is made up of connected things. These things are nodes, and the connection between these nodes are known as edges. After that, we have discussed about the various application of network analysis and why we used to do network analysis. Then we have also seen that a network can be either directed or undirected. And in the last, we have discussed about the adjacency matrix and few of the centrality measure which measure the strength of the network. So in this particular lecture, I'll be discussing about the different techniques of science mapping. So these techniques are bibliographic coupling, co-citation analysis, then co-authorship analysis and co-word analysis. So let us first discuss what bibliographic coupling is. Okay. So in 1960, M.M. Kessler from MIT have studied the references in the documents and found the relationship between the two documents. Okay. And Kessler have published 7 research reports. Some of the key studies were an experimental study of bibliographic coupling between technical papers, bibliographic coupling between scientific papers, and many more. So, what was that relationship? So, the relationship states between the two documents that sharing the common references. Okay. So, the concept of bibliographic coupling says that if two documents shares at least one common reference between them, then those two documents are bibliographic coupled. Okay. And the strength of the bibliographic coupling between those two documents will be calculated based on the number of common references they share. Okay. So let's understand this particular concept with an example. Okay. Say for example, we have, this is document A, and it has 4 references. Reference 1, reference 2, reference 3, reference 4. So we have already discussed about that what a document is, and in the document we have some references in the end. So we are assuming that this particular document 1 has 4 references. Okay. Now another example, document B, which have, say for example, another references. So document B has 4 references and it has reference 1, reference 5, reference 6, reference. Okay. Now take another document C, which have 3 references, reference 8, reference 9, reference 10. Okay. So we have another document D which have 6 references. So references 1, references 2, references 5, reference 7, reference 6, reference 9. Okay. So these are 10 references of different papers. Okay. So what exactly this particular case is saying, that document A is a published document which has 4 references. Okay. So the document is published and it has 4 references. Okay. So another document B has another 4 references, reference 1, reference 5, reference 6, reference 7. Then we have document C which have 3 references, 8, 9, 10, and we have a document D which have 6 references, reference 1, reference 2, reference 5, reference 7, reference 6, reference 9. So all these 10 references are different. Okay. Now to see whether a document are bibliographic couple or not, what we have to do? We have to see the two documents and then we have to calculate what are the common references they are sharing. If we see this particular case, we have 4 documents. So how many pairs of different documents we have to test? So we have to check one A and B whether they are bibliographic coupled or not. Then we have to check B and C. Then we have to check C and D. So this is one set, this is one set, this is C and D one set, and then we have A and D, and then we have B and D, and we have to see A and C. So these are the 6 pair of documents we have, and now we have to calculate the bibliographic coupling. So if we see A and B document, so we have common references is only this. So we can say that A and B are bibliographic coupled. Then we will calculate for B and C. If we check B and C, there is no common references they share. So we will say that it is not a bibliographic coupled. So it is not bibliographic coupled. Then we will see document C and D. So for document C and D, there is like reference, one common reference is there. So we will say that C and D are bibliographic coupled. So what that reference is? Reference 9. So C and D is also bibliographic coupled. Then we will see A and D. For A and D, there is like 2 common references. One is this, one is this, and here 1 and 2. So A and D are bibliographic coupled. So it is also bibliographic coupled. Then we will see B and D. So for B and D, there is a common reference 1 is this. So we have this here. Then 5 we have, 5 we have. Then we have 6, also 6 we have. Then we have 7, we have 7 here also. So B and D are also bibliographic coupled. A and C, they are not sharing any common references. So we will say that A and C are not bibliographic coupled. So our bibliographic coupled documents are now, if we say bibliographic coupled document, we have A and B, then we have C and D, then we have A and D, and then we have B and D. Okay. Now we will calculate the strength between these bibliographic coupled. So for A and B, there is only one common references. So its strength is 1. Now for C and D, there is a common reference of 1. So we will say that its strength is also 1. For A and D, we have 2 common references. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So we will say that strength of A and D is 2. For B and D, we have 1, then 5 we have, then we have 6, then we have 7. So we have 4 documents. So the strength of bibliographic coupled between B and D is 4. So this is how we calculate the bibliographic coupling between the 2 documents. Okay. So the study of bibliographic coupling is considered as measure of forming the cluster having similar research interest. Okay. So here we have a different clusters. So these are different cluster have been formed. Okay. So now you guess that what kind of graph will be formed between the bibliographic coupling of these documents. So will it be a directed graph or a undirected graph? So if we see here, it will be a undirected graph, because if we are saying A and B is bibliographic coupled, that means B and A are also bibliographic coupled. Okay, it's a mutual relationship. So what we have discussed about the undirected graph. So if we see here that this is A, this is B. So these are bibliographic coupled. then C and D. So there is C is there, and then this is D is there. So they are also bibliographic coupled. Then A and D, this is also bibliographic coupled, and B and D, this is also bibliographic coupled. So this is how our network representation of this bibliographic coupling will be shown. And if we see here the strength of these bibliographic coupled, what exactly it is? So A and B, it's 1, C and D, it's 1, A and D, it's 2, and B and D. So if we have to show the higher bibliographic coupling strength between the two documents, how we will do? We have already discussed that we will make this edge thick. So this is the thick edge, and then this will be the another thick edge, and these edge will be thin edge. Okay. So this is what a bibliographic coupling is. So the strength between the bibliographic coupled documents is static. Okay. So why it's static? Because once the document is published, those reference will be fixed. It won't be updated later. So we are saying that document A and B bibliographic coupled, and there is strength is 1. So it's static because the document is published. So bibliographic coupling is directly proportional to the number of common references they have. Okay. More the number of common references, more will be the strength of bibliographic coupling. So for A and B, if we have 10 common references, then this strength of this particular bibliographic coupled will be 10. Okay. So the range of strength of bibliographic coupling between the two documents will be from 1 to the number of common references they have. If the bibliographic coupling strength is 0, that means the documents are not bibliographic coupled, and if it is 1, so the documents are bibliographic coupled and their strength is 1. So if A is having 50 references and B has 40 references, and say for example this document B has all the 40 references common to A, so the bibliographic coupling strength of A and B will be 40. Okay. It can't be 50 because B doesn't have all those 10 references. So this is about the strength of bibliographic coupled documents. Now see another examples of a documents index in a Scopus database. Okay. So this is an interface of Scopus. We have already discussed that what Scopus is and how we extract the data from this particular database. So I am searching here Facebook and topic and okay. So what I am saying here is that in Scopus search all the documents where the titles have Facebook, topic and modeling, all those 3 words in the title itself. Okay. So these are the 9 documents which have been retrieved from Scopus. Now if we take the example of this, let's take the example of this one. And then this. So if we see this document, so somehow this it is not loaded, but for bibliographic coupling we don't need the other details here, we need the references here only. So if we see these 2 documents, so what all 2 documents we are seeing in? So we are looking for this LDA based topic modeling on hospital Facebook post, and then the second document is our this the strategic usage of Facebook by local governments, a structural topic modeling analysis. Okay, now we have to check whether these documents are bibliographic coupled or not. So what we will do, we will search this. So like we have, this is one document, this is another document by this author, and this. So now we'll see whether we have. So the same paper we have here in this document also, and then in this document also, like by this author, published in 2003, Journal of Machine Learning and Research. And if we see here the same document, so what exactly it shows here is that these two documents are bibliographic coupled and their strength is at least 1. Okay, so we haven't analyzed all the references of the first document and the second documents. Also we can say that this particular document has 89 reference and another this document has 18 references. So we can say that the bibliographic coupling strength of these two documents will not be higher than 18. Okay, so the maximum thing it can be like all those 18 references whatever in the second document can be also in the first document. If it is not, so the bibliographic coupling strength will be lesser than 18. Okay, so this is what about the bibliographic coupling is. What this I have taken up here is by just an example, and these all things will be visualized with the help of different software which we will be covering up in the next week. So let us now discuss another similar technique known as co-citation analysis. So it was given by Henry Small in 1973. That Henry Small is also discussed about the relationship between the documents, what that relationship was. So the earlier one, the bibliographic coupling studied by Kessler, was where the two documents are analyzed whether they are sharing the common references or not. Okay, but in co-citation analysis we have to analyze whether the two documents are co-cited in a single document. Okay, and how many these documents are there which are citing these two documents together in their references. Okay, sometimes people get confused with this bibliographic coupling and co-citation, but this is the difference. Okay, so what bibliographic coupling is? Bibliographic coupling analyze the documents that are sharing the common references. Okay, and what co-citation analysis is? So the co-citation analysis analyze the two documents which are cited together in other document. Okay, so Henry Small discussed this relationship in the paper Co-citation in the Scientific Literature, a new measure of the relationship between the two documents, and it is measured between two documents that are cited together in the published literature. The cluster formed by co-citation analysis describe the structure of science, expert in the area, and how fields evolve over time. Okay, so the analysis helps in knowing the influential publications and then prominent authors and journals and drawing the thematics clusters. Okay, so let's take a practical example of what co-citation analysis is. So let us assume that we have 6 papers. Okay, so what these papers are? So let's assume that this is paper 1, then this is paper 2, and then we have paper 3, paper 4, paper 5, and paper 6. Now each paper have references. We have already seen that. So let us assume that it has many references, but it also has references of document 1 and document 2. Then paper 2 has also many references and it has document 2 and document 3. So these document 1 and document 2 are another papers. Okay, then document 2 and document 3. Then we have paper 3 which have all the references and document 2 and document 3. Then we have paper 4, we have document 2, document 1. Then we have paper 5, which have document 2 and document 4. And then we have paper 6, document 1 and document 2. Okay. Now, if we have to analyze the co-citations analysis of the documents, what we have to see? We have to select the two documents. So, these are the two documents, and then we have to see that how many papers are there which are cited these two documents together. So, if we see here, document 1 and document 2 has been cited in paper 1. So, this is where 1 and 2 we have. Then we have here also 1 and 2, and then we have here also 1 and 2. So, document 1 and 2, we have 3 papers, paper 1, paper 4 and paper 6. Okay. So, 1 and 2 has been co-cited together in these 3 documents. Then if we see document 2 and 3, it is cited here. So, document 2 and 3 has been cited here is in paper 2 and then paper 3. And if we see document 2 and 4, it has been co-cited together in paper 5. Okay. So, similarly, we can give the strength also of this co-citation. So, if we see the strength of document 1 and 2 is 3, and then document 2 and 3 is 2, because it has been co-cited in 2 documents, and then document 2 and 4 is 1, because this particular set of documents have been cited only once together. Okay. Now, similar to bibliographic coupling, what kind of graph will be there for co-citation analysis? It will be a directed or undirected graph. So, it will be a undirected graph. Okay. So, how undirected graph? So, document 1 is there, document 2. So, we have, because if we are saying that document 1 and document 2 are co-cited together, or document 2 and document 1 are co-cited together, these are the same meaning, the mutual relationship is there. Okay. So, document 1 and 2 is co-cited together, edge is there. Then document 2 and 3, we have an edge, and then document 2 and 4. Okay. So, this is a network graph of co-citation analysis when we are doing for the documents. Okay. So, when we were discussing about the bibliographic coupling, the strength of bibliographic coupling is static, because once the document is published, reference will not be further changed. But in the case of co-citation analysis, when we are talking about the two documents, they are co-cited together, the strength will be dynamic. Okay. Like say for example, now we are taking the example here is of document 1, 2 and then second and third and second and fourth document. So, if we see the strength of second and 4 is only 1, but maybe in future, like there will be many other documents will be published which co-cite together these two documents, then the co-citation strength of this particular set of document will be more compared to the other thing. So, that is why the strength of co-citation analysis is dynamic in nature. Okay. So, the similar way what we have discussed about the Scopus example of bibliographic coupling, let us now discuss about the example of co-citations analysis of documents. Okay. And if we see, these were our two documents. We discussed about the bibliographic coupling of this particular document and this document. Okay. So, now we are doing the analysis of co-citation analysis of documents. So, how it will go? So, let us see, we are taking these two documents, one is that latent Dirichlet allocation and another is this probabilistic topic models. Okay. And if I search on this document, we have this probabilistic topic models, then this latent Dirichlet allocation. Okay. So, the co-citation exists here Because these two documents, latent Dirichlet allocation and probabilistic topic models, have been co-cited together in this document also. Okay, and similarly, so here also those two documents have been cited together. So how we will say that co-citation analysis of this particular two documents? So now we will say that the documents which has the title probabilistic topic models and the latent Dirichlet allocations are co-cited together in two documents. Okay, but when we were saying the bibliographic coupling, we were saying that the strategic usage of Facebook by local governments, a structural topic modeling analysis, this paper and this paper, LDA based topic modeling on hospital Facebook posts. So these two papers are bibliographic coupled. Okay, so this is the common difference. Many times we get confused in the bibliographic coupling and co-citation analysis. Okay, so from here we can easily get the idea of how co-citation can help us to know the structure of science. So take another example, that this is a document 1, maybe on R package. Okay, then we have document 2 on LDA. So LDA is a popular text mining algorithm for topic modeling. We will be discussing in the upcoming weeks. Then this is a document 3, which is on Python package. Okay. Now to do the LDA analysis, we have different package in different kind of environment. So we have the package for LDA in R also and Python also. And if we do analyze the co-citation of this and this, okay, and say for example, I am just taking an example that R package and LDA co-citations is around, like say for example 100, and if I take the co-citations strength is 100, and for this LDA and Python package the strength of these co-cited togethers are maybe 15. Okay, so I am just taking a hypothetical example. Okay, so what I am saying here is that there are 100 documents which have co-cited R package and LDA, and there are 15 documents which have cited LDA and Python package. Okay, so from here it can be easily underlined that the LDA analysis using R package is quite popular, and the researcher are doing the research on LDA analysis using R package. So this is how the co-citation analysis helps you in identifying the similar kind of documents. Okay. So now other than the co-citation analysis of documents, there are two other types of co-citation analysis we can do. So one is that author co-citation analysis, and then the journal co-citation analysis. So what author co-citation analysis is? So it exactly measure the relationship between the two authors if they are co-cited together in the publications. Okay. So similar to the documents. So earlier when we were doing the co-citation analysis of document, we were doing the analysis of documents. Now we will see whether two authors are co-cited together. And the similar way we have the third co-citation analysis of journals, or maybe we can do for the source also. And we have already discussed about journals as they are considered key formal channels of science communication. And if we do the analysis of this journal citation, we get to know about that what are the influential or the prominent journals are there which have been co-cited together in the publications. Okay. So this is all about the co-citation analysis. So we have discussed about the co-citation analysis of documents, and similar to that we can do the analysis of authors and then for the journals. So let us take one example of journal co-citations. So let us take that so these are the 58 documents on this tweets based topic modeling. So let's take this an example. So this is one publication where we are doing the analysis of journal co-citation, and this is another paper for our journal co-citation analysis. Okay. So for doing the analysis of journal co-citation, what we have to do is we have to see these references. So I'll just see in the result format, and similar to here also. So it has 77 references. So we'll take all those journals, what all journals have been here. So I'll just take it down the, and let's take this, filter it by J. Okay. Similarly, here we can see different journals for 133 references. So I'll just then do all, and I'll just go with J. Okay. So if you note here that the journal, now we have the 77 reference in one paper and 133 references in another paper. So based on this, we can make the pair of journals. So in these 77 references, these many journals are there, and so total journals are these many journals. So I am just filtering it down with J. So here we can make multiple pairs. We have to do the co-citation analysis. So what I am doing here, I am making one pair is that JMIR Public Health and Surveillance. So this is one journal, and another is Journal of Medical Internet Research. Okay. So this is one is a co-citation of this particular pair is all because it's already cited, co-cited together. Then similarly, if we go here in this particular paper, we found that this is a journal, JMIR Public Health and Surveillance, and then Journal of Medical Internet Research. Okay. So what we can say here is that there is a two journals are there which are JMIR Public Health and Surveillance, and another is Journal of Medical Internet Research. Both the journals have been co-cited together in two documents. Okay. So one is this document, Evolution of COVID-19 tweets about Southeast Asian countries, topic modeling and sentiment analysis, and another paper is this, analyzing public reaction, perception and attitude during the Mpox outbreak, findings from topic modeling of tweets. Okay. So this is how we can calculate the co-citations of the journals, but because we have lot many journals data, and this is a small example where we have taken the only two sources. Okay. But at the same time we have to handle the multiple journals of all the publication. So for that we need a some kind of analysis software. So there are like different softwares are there which we will be discussing in the upcoming week. So this is all about the co-citation analysis. So what we have discussed? We have discussed about the co-citation analysis of documents. So then we have discussed about author co-citation, and also we have discussed about the journal co-citation. So now let us move to another technique called co-authorship analysis. So co-authorship analysis is an important technique in the science mapping where we do the analysis of collaboration. Okay. So these collaboration can be between even the authors, or maybe the institution, or maybe the countries. Okay. So how exactly they are collaborating the particular research to generate the new knowledge. Okay. And we know that collaboration in research is important, that helps in establishing the communication networks, share ideas and generate new knowledge. So the study of the collaboration of author, institution and countries, how exactly it is propagating between them, is a kind of a measure that helps in knowing the structure of collaborative research. Okay. So the study of author collaboration, institution collaboration and countries collaboration, and how it is propagating in the academic literature helps in knowing the structure of collaborative research. Okay. So we can do the analysis of co-authorship on either of the authors, then in the on the institution or on the countries. So to do the co-authorship analysis, what kind of data we need? So we need the authors and their affiliation. Based on that, we can assess easily. So if we see here, we have this author data. This is based on this we can do the analysis of co-authorship, that this G and Jordan have collaborated on one research paper, and the more the number of papers they have for their collaboration, we can easily assess that okay, this much the strength of the link between them. Then similar to this, if we see the affiliation, that this is the University of California, then another is from Stanford University. So this is how we can do the analysis of institution co-authorship. And similar way, if we have the different countries authors, so we can have the collaboration analysis of these different countries. Okay, so the analysis of co-authorship is very straightforward, so we can easily see it. So the publication which have only single author, they don't have any collaboration with other authors, but the publications which have either two or more authors, so they have co-authorship for that publications. Okay, let us now discuss about the institutional co-authorship. So how exactly institutional co-authorship is, let's take example of this. So if we see here, the authors of this particular publications are from two different institutions. One is a University of Athens and another is a University of Paris. So this is how we can establish the network between these two institutions, that University of Athens and the University of Paris are co-authoring for this particular publication, and the more the number of publications they are collaborating, more their link strength will be there. So similarly, if you see here, there are four authors are there, and in similar way we can draw the co-authorship network of these four authors, and the more papers they publish together, their co-authorship network will be stronger. Okay, if we see in this particular data, we can't do the analysis of co-authorship of countries, because all the authors belong to the Greece only on single country. So to understand the country wise co-authorship, let us see this example. If we see this particular example, so one of the author is from United States and another is from India. Here we can easily map that relationship, that there is a co-authorship relationship between India and USA. Then more will be the publications from these two countries, more will be the link strength between these USA and India, and similar to the other countries who are collaborating on any of the research. So this is all about the co-authorship analysis. So we can do the co-authorship analysis on either of the authors, then we can do for institution, and then we can do for countries. Okay, so how the particular authors are collaborating, or how the institution are collaborating on a research topic or research area, and how countries are collaborating on particular research to generate the new knowledge. Okay, so till now we have discussed about bibliographic coupling, which assess the intellectual structure by analyzing the two documents sharing the common references. Then we have discussed about the co-citation network, which assess the strength of two publications that are cited together in other documents. So then we have discussed about co-authorship, where we assess the collaboration between the authors and or either the institution or the countries. So covert analysis is another similar kind of technique related to this bibliographic coupling or co-citation or co-authorship, where the thematic clusters are made based on the relationship between the words, okay, and how two words are mentioned in different documents. So it shows the relationships of words occurring together, where we can see the words in a publications. So if we see our data set, so this is a title, here words are there, then we have the words in abstract also, then we have the words in author keywords. So author keywords are the keywords which are provided by the authors during the submission of the publication, and then we have index keyword. Okay, so index keyword based on MESH, medical subject heading, or maybe these engineering control terms. So and there are like different indexing terms are there. Okay, and then we have the words in full text. But whenever we are downloading the data from either of the bibliographic data sources, we are getting the words only in the title. So we are getting the title, then we are getting the keywords, and then we are getting the words in abstract. But we have the full text also. So how to extract the words from abstract or title, or maybe from full text, we'll discuss when we will be talking about the text mining. But for understanding the keyword analysis, consider the words from author keywords and index keywords. So keyword analysis is based on a idea that occurrence of a words together shows the research themes in a particular discipline. Okay. So first the pair of words are identified. When the pair of words are selected, after that we search in the text corpus. So whatever our data set is, we search in that particular data set that these pair of words are occurring or not. And if these pair of words are occurring, we will collect all those documents and we will make it a cluster. Okay. So this is what keyword analysis is, where we group the documents based on the findings of the similar words on those documents. Okay. And this grouping of these documents are done on some clustering mechanism. Okay. So the simpler way of collecting the keywords are from like either of the author's keyword or the index keyword. But if both keywords are not given, then we have to switch to collection of the word from either of the title or abstract or maybe the full text. So this is one publication and another is this publication. Now let us assume that we have selected the pair of words is big data and Twitter. Okay, this is a one pair of word which are co-mentioned in this particular paper. Then if we go here, so we can see that there are like another pair of words, the same word big data and Twitter, what we have mentioned in this here. So based on this analysis, we can conclude that these two papers are related to big data analytics of Twitter data. Okay. So this is how the keywords analysis helps in understanding the research topic of a particular document. So in this whole week, we have discussed about the science mapping, and we have discussed about how we can do the mapping of science using the network analysis. We have discussed about the different kind of a network. Then we have discussed about the different measures to calculate the strength of a network. And in the last, we have discussed about the few of the technique of science mapping, that is bibliographic coupling, then co-citation analysis, co-authorship analysis, and keyword analysis. And just we have discussed the this whole this technique with small examples, but in reality we have a huge data, and analyzing that data can only be done with the help of some software, and visualizing it, because network analysis is done by visualization. So in the next week we will be discussing about all those visualization technique, why exactly we need the visualization, what are the important things in data visualization, and what are the different software we have, how we can use these different software for doing the data visualization and for our analysis. Okay, so see you in the next week. Thank you.